So, everyone chill out for a second. When you saw that title, I'm sure you just saw that and was like, no, no, no. I assure you, it's not the way you think. This isn't really... I wouldn't call this even a crossover per se. It's more of a... I don't know. I guess, like, an inspiration. Like, it actually, like, the more inspiration for this was from an episode of Community, the ones that the Russo brothers directed, where they play it like like, the joke is that they play it too seriously, and they're, like, playing, like, paintball or something. That's really what it is. Like, they're just playing it serious. Yeah. So think it more like that. Before, you know, before someone has a conniption, like, that's... that's really what we're doing here. Like, that, that's the whole, like, what we're really doing here for this video. Anyway, so let's get started. So as you can see, it's called the Loud House Heresy. And no, this is not a Warhammer Loud House crossover in the way you think. I would not even call it a crossover. It's more like this is going to be more like an episode of it. So, what is the Loud House Heresy? Let's get into it. So, the story of the Loud House Heresy is that Lincoln has been going to his local comic shop, and basically he's been seeing more and more Warhammer stuff. He's been seeing a lot more, like, Warhammer 40k stuff showing up more and more at his local store. And he's, you know, getting his Ace Savvy comics and all that, and he's like, what is all this? Like, like, what is, like, Warhammer 40k? And the guy running the store is like, oh, you've never heard of Warhammer 40k? Oh, yeah, I'll tell you all about it. So he tells him, he basically gives him, like, a lot of the information, but he mainly tells him about the Horus Heresy. He basically tells him about the whole kickoff point of Warhammer 40k. I know there's more to that, but, like, for the Imperium itself, it is the kickoff point is basically the Horus Heresy. So, so throughout the story, so he basically tells him, like, everything about the Horus Heresy, and Lincoln is just like, oh my gosh, can I get some of those figures? And he's like, that'll be $60. I do not want it. So Lincoln goes home, but he does buy a book, and he's like, it's not a comic book, but I want to read an actual novel. Yeah, so he goes home and reads, like, several novels he bought of the Horus Heresy, and even his sisters are like, Lincoln? Reading a book? With no pictures? What? What? So Lincoln is just all, like, excited about all of this, and he's just like, guys, I gotta tell you about this cool thing, and, yeah. They basically are, like, he's telling them all about the Horus Heresy, and it's a lazy summer day, and they're like, well, what if we played it? Like, what if we played that? And that's the whole thing of the story, is that the Loud House acts out the Horus Heresy. Yeah. So, if you're wondering what roles characters get, Lincoln takes on the role of Horus Lupercal. And they're actually, like, for costumes, they make, like, makeshift armor out of, like, boxes and paint them very shoddily. Lincoln puts on, like, an old throw rug over the back to represent, like, the wolf pelt over his back. You have, like, other... Like, yeah, they basically wear Space Marine... Like, they make bad cosplay Space Marine armor to, like, act this out. And all the sisters are like... Even Lori is like, sure, I'm not doing anything, why not? And in fact, like, actually, a better explanation of that, of why she really gets into it, is because Bobby gets into it, and he's like, I want to play! And she's like, alright, guess I work with children all the time. Alright, fine. So she jumps in. So, like I said, Lincoln takes on the role of Horus, and he plays it straight. Like, he basically is like, I never wanted... He's, like, got his hands behind his back, he's just walking through, he's like, I never wanted this. To loose my legions upon the world. But you forced my hand, Father, so let the galaxy burn. And Clyde, who takes on he plays Lorgar, he's like, that was really cool. Thanks, I was practicing it. They also, like, you have the other characters, like, Luna takes on the role of Angron because she just loves his like, metal vibe. Luann takes on the role of Fulgrim. You have Lily, and they're like, who should Lily play? And then she shits her pants and goes, and then everyone goes, Mortarion. So you have her in a little Mortarion costume with, like, using a scythe to, like, help herself stand, a little, like, toy scythe to help her, like, walk around. Lisa takes on the role of Ferris Manus. Lana and Lola become Alfarius and Omegon, because that was too perfect. So you have you have several characters, like Lori takes on the role of Lionel Johnson. Lenny becomes sanguineous because she thinks he's the hottest thing ever. Lynn Jr. becomes takes on the role of Rabute Gilliman. You have even Lynn's father, like the Loud Kid's father, Lynn Sr., even gets in on this insanity and is like, this sounds really cool, I'll be the Emperor. So from here on out, they just play out the Horus Heresy in the backyard, playing with using water guns for bolters, and they're using like plastic, like foam bats as for swords, and for Lincoln he's using a foam bat as like the Horus's mace, and the whole gag is just the whole gag of it all is just they're playing it straight, and it's like a parody of the Horus Heresy, where for Space Marines they're using action figures from their toy boxes, or in some cases even like bits of makeup that Lori and Lenny aren't using, and they apply that to using that as Space Marines for their respective legions. It's just kind of invoking that whole like kids playing, kids just playing, and the whole time they're reading out lines from the books. They're like speaking like from the books. Like you have Lucy who is she's our Conrad Kurz, and her friend Haiku is Corvus Corax. You have, like I said, Clyde's Lorgar. A lot of characters are just they're all just playing around, having fun, and pretending to say these like outlandish and over-the-top dialogue while they're all just shooting each other with squirt guns. Until finally we get to the Siege of Terra, and there Lenny takes a over-dramatic dive when and he's like, Lenny, you're supposed to go down. Really? On my knees? No! Just fall down. Okay. Bleh. And then their dad's just like, no! And it has like this big foam sword, and he pretends to plunge it through Lincoln, only goes through his underside, and he's like, no! Curse you, father! Bleh. And by the end of it, everyone's just having fun, everyone's just laughing, and Lincoln's just like, man, that was so much fun. I wonder if the entire Warhammer fandom is this united. And then he looks online and he just looks at his laptop, goes online to like Warhammer Reddit communities, and just goes, I'm just going to close that, put that over here, and I'm just going to live in my little bubble. So there you go, guys. That is the Lincoln Heresy, or the Loud House Heresy. I don't know what I'm going to call this yet. I just thought this would be like a fun, cute little story, because it was just in my head, and I was just like, I'm not going to do like a full-on Loud House Warhammer crossover. That's fucking stupid. But the Loud House characters acting it out would actually possibly work as an episode of the show. If they probably wouldn't call it Warhammer 40K. It'd probably be like, I don't know, War Sword, like Battle Sword for like 8,000 or something, and that would be the parody, and they would just act that out. But yeah, so yeah, I am never doing an actual Warhammer Loud House crossover. I'm never doing that. But I thought, like, hey, wouldn't it be adorable if they did something like this? So there you go. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of the Loud House Heresy? Did you guys like it, hate it? Comment below, let me know. And what other characters could you see playing Primarchs in the show? Or important characters to the story? I didn't list everybody out, but yeah. Anyway, so just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope y'all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.